The first prediction for today is for the game between the Boston Celtics and the Detroit Pistons. Today's matchup feels like one of those early season tone setters. Boston comes in winless and wounded, while Detroit smells blood in the water after a gritty win over Houston. The Pistons might not be stacked with star power like the Celtics, but they're playing with a chip on their shoulder, and at home, that energy hits different. The Celtics, to be fair, are fighting through a brutal start. Losing Jason Tatum for the year has left a massive scoring and leadership hole, and without him, they've looked disoriented. They blew a double-digit lead in Philly, then got run out of Madison Square Garden by the Knicks. Even with Jaylen Brown potentially returning, this squad looks a step slow, especially late in games. Boston's still forcing turnovers and leading the league in steals per game, but those defensive highlights haven't translated into wins. They've lacked that killer instinct down the stretch, something Tatum usually brings when the game tightens up. On the flip side, the Pistons are showing signs of maturity. Cade Cunningham looks locked in, leading the offense with confidence, even if he's been a little loose with the rock. What I like most about Detroit is how they've been responding to pressure. That win against Houston wasn't pretty, but it showed guts. They dominated the paint, hustled on every possession, and pulled off 11 blocks. That's the kind of intensity this team needs to make their mark early. Duncan Robinson stepped up as a surprise two-way weapon, knocking down big shots and contesting everything inside. Defensively, Detroit has been one of the league's most disciplined teams so far, holding opponents to under 48% effective field goal shooting. They're also the top team in the league for Q2 and Q4 win percentage, meaning they start strong and finish stronger. That's huge for a young group still figuring out its chemistry. I get it, Boston's defense looks scary on paper, but this version of the Celtics doesn't have that same swagger. Without Tatum, they're easier to guard, and their offense just doesn't have the same rhythm or spacing. The Pistons' front court can bully them inside, and Cade should have a field day attacking mismatches. Add the home court edge and Detroit's hot momentum late in games, and I just don't see the Celtics hanging around for 4 full quarters. So yeah, I'm riding with the Pistons tonight. They're hungry, confident, and playing some inspired basketball. I think they control the tempo, own the boards, and finally get that revenge after dropping 3 of 4 last season. My money's on the Pistons to win and cover the -2 spread. The second prediction for today is for the game between the Bucks and Cavaliers. Today's matchup in Cleveland feels like a litmus test for both groups. The Cavs have bullied this series lately, but I'm looking at how these rosters are playing right now and where the pressure points live for 48 minutes. Cleveland's offense runs hot when Donovan Mitchell gets downhill and the kickouts stay clean. Sam Merrill has been snapping into space and punishing late closeouts, while Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen give the Cavs verticality at both ends. But with Darius Garland and Max Struss sidelined, that shot creation tree is thinner. Without Garland's table setting, the Cavs lean heavily on Mitchell to manufacture advantages, and that invites traps, top locks, and a steady diet of contested twos if the Bucks keep bodies in gaps. Milwaukee, meanwhile, has opened the season with real pop. The pace is purposeful, the spacing is workable, and the shot diet is efficient. Giannis Antetokounmpo just hammered out a 31 and 20 night, and you can feel how his rim pressure bends the floor. Gary Trent Jr. has been timely in the clutch, Cole Anthony has given the second unit some punch, and Bobby Portis keeps the glass tilted Milwaukee's way. Even if Miles Turner hasn't splashed defensively yet, his presence as a backline anchor and pick-and-pop threat changes how defenses tag the roller. The numbers from the opening stretch back up the eye test. Milwaukee is pouring in points with elite field goal efficiency and holding a sturdy edge on the boards. Cleveland can score too, especially from deep, but they've leaked on defense and haven't controlled the glass. If those rebounding gaps show up again, second chance points and early clock looks become Milwaukee's runway. Tactically, I expect Doc Rivers to live in high pick and roll with Giannis screening, forcing Mobley or Allen into tough help and recover decisions. If the Cavs switch, Giannis will bury smaller bodies on the block. If they drop, Milwaukee's guards walk into rhythm pull-ups and pocket passes. On the other side, Milwaukee can crowd Mitchell at the point of attack, peel switch behind the play, and dare the ancillary shooting to beat them multiple times per quarter. Without Garland's steady handle, Cleveland's late clock possessions can stall. I'm also watching whistle control. The Cavs just won a game by living at the stripe, but Milwaukee's downhill pressure can flip that script. If the Bucks get the bonus early, those free throws stabilize any dry spell and keep the cover on pace. Bottom line, I trust Milwaukee's form, size on the glass, and late-game shot quality more than Cleveland's abbreviated creation menu. The Cavs will land punches, Mitchell always does, yet over 4 quarters I see the Bucks stacking enough extra possessions and clean looks to create separation. My pick, I'm riding with Milwaukee to cover the 8-point spread. I expect the Bucks to control the glass, win the paint touches, and pull away in the last 6 minutes. The third prediction for today is for the game between the Pacers and Timberwolves. Tonight at the Target Center, the Timberwolves are looking to bounce back and remind everyone what they're really about after getting humbled by the Lakers. I'm expecting a statement game from them in front of their home crowd. Minnesota's got all their main pieces healthy and ready to go, and this is the kind of matchup that can help them shake off that ugly loss and regain rhythm. The Pacers, on the other hand, are in a tough spot. No Halliburton, no McConnell, and Nembhard's still not ready. That's a nightmare scenario for a team that already struggles with ball movement when under pressure. They fought hard against OKC in that double overtime game, and Mathurin was pure fire that night, but they couldn't carry that same energy into Memphis. Playing back-to-back games on the road with a short rotation is brutal, and it shows. Siakam has been solid, trying to anchor both ends of the floor, but without consistent guard play, Indiana's offense gets predictable. Minnesota's defense wasn't pretty against the Lakers. They gave up too many easy buckets in transition, but I expect a sharper, more focused unit tonight. Anthony Edwards is due for another big night. The guy's been carrying that killer instinct early in the season, and when he gets downhill, there's not much you can do but pray he misses. Julius Randle has been doing the dirty work too, crashing the glass, creating shots, and giving them that second scoring option they need. I also think the Wolves' depth is going to matter. Naz Reid had a quiet outing last time, but I expect him to respond off the bench and give them that extra push inside. The Pacers' interior defense is shaky, and Minnesota's got the size and physicality to exploit that. When Gobert controls the paint and they start running their half-court sets through Edwards and Randle, the Timberwolves become a completely different team, structured, dangerous, and tough to stop. Indiana will try to speed things up because that's what they do best, but fatigue and short rotation are real problems here. I don't see them being able to sustain that pace deep into the third and fourth quarters. The Wolves are simply better equipped to take over late, especially at home, where they've been dominant in openers against Eastern Conference teams for years. I know it's a big line, but I'm not flinching. The Pacers are missing too much firepower and stability. Minnesota's got the edge in size, energy, and shot creation, and I think they'll lock in defensively after the embarrassment in LA. I'm taking the Timberwolves to win comfortably and cover that minus 9.5 point spread. They've got too much fire, too much depth, and tonight's the night they show it. The fourth prediction for today is for the game between the Trail Blazers and Clippers. All right, here we go. The Trail Blazers roll into the Intuit Dome with some wild energy, and honestly, I didn't expect them to bounce back that strongly after all the drama. But credit where it's due, Tiago Splitter, in his first game running the show, got this young group to buy in and ball out. Dropping 139 points on the Warriors isn't a small thing, no matter who's missing on the other side. The ball movement looked sharp, the energy was contagious, and seeing 8 players hit double figures said a lot about how connected this locker room is right now. Denny Avdija looks like a man on a mission, Jeremy Grant is back in his groove, and the chemistry with Drew Holiday at the helm gives them a sense of order they badly needed. What I love about this version of the Blazers is that they're scrappy, unselfish, and young enough not to care who's standing in front of them. Sure, they've only beaten the Clippers once in their last 12 meetings, but momentum's a funny thing. When you play loose and confident, that history starts to mean less. I expect Splitter to push the pace again, because slowing it down against LA would just play into the Clippers' hands. Portland needs to run, space the floor, and let those wings attack in transition. Now, talking about the Clippers, man, what a split personality they've shown so far. They got embarrassed in Utah on opening night and then turned around and blew the doors off the Suns. James Harden and Kawhi Leonard looked smooth in that second game, 57 points combined in just 28 minutes each. That's efficiency right there. But the real question is consistency. This team has the names Harden, Kawhi, Beal, Zubac, even veterans like Chris Paul and Brook Lopez off the bench. But names don't win games if the energy isn't there. Their new home court clearly gives them life, but I'm not convinced they'll bring that same fire every night. If the Clippers get Zubac involved early, that's trouble for Portland's rookie big man, Donovan Clingan. But if the Blazers can stretch LA's defense and pull those bigs away from the rim, things open up for guys like Sharp and Kamara to do damage downhill. Harden will try to control tempo, but he's up against a team that thrives on chaos, and that's exactly what Portland needs to create here. I think this one turns into a back-and-forth fight. The Clippers might win it outright with their experience, but I'm not betting on a blowout. Portland's energy and rhythm are real, and that 9.5-point spread feels a bit too generous to LA, considering how unpredictable they've looked early. My pick, the Trailblazers cover the 9.5-point spread. I see them hanging tough, playing with pride, and making LA sweat in their own building. They might not steal the win, but they'll make bettors who backed them proud. I'm rolling with the young Blazers to keep it close tonight.